Good morning, everyone. So, as organizations are embarking in expanding their ML and AI initiatives, it's really important for organizations to start thinking about how to strengthen their data foundation in order for them to be able to support these initiatives. So this strong foundation will serve you well beyond the ML and AI implementation because it will also set you up for competitive advantage and overall success. My name is HILDA Davies, and I'm a member of the Field CTO office at Snowflake, where I manage the performance solutions and data engineering functions. So working alongside my team, we've had the privilege of working with a variety of customers across multiple verticals, where we help them conceptualize, architect, and implement ML and AI on the Snowflake platform. So I hope to be able to share some of those experiences with you today. So for the agenda, we're going to start talking about what considerations you need to have as you're expanding your data science, your machine learning capability within your organization. And I hope this will help you as you contemplate the kind of data platform that you need to be able to execute these initiatives successfully. And then we'll take a look at the AI and ML functionalities that we have within the Snowflake platform, as well as share some of the functionalities that we have in our pipeline. And I think it's really important for us to share the thinking or the reasoning behind our investment in this area. And then we're going to talk about generative AI and LLMs, which is pretty much in everyone's mind at the moment. So we'll discuss about the opportunities and the risks that they present, as well as I will share an insight into how we at Snowflake envision what the future might look like within this domain. So we're going to start with ML equation. What is an ML equation? So what ingredients do you need to have a successful machine learning and AI initiatives within your organization? So machine learning really hinges on its foundational elements, and the foremost being infrastructure. So infrastructure will be similar to devices that you use on a regular basis, such as your laptop, your mobile phones. In order for you to do machine learning, you need CPUs. So this can be x86, ARMs, or GPU for accelerated or enhanced computational capabilities. So in short, for you to do machine learning, infrastructure is an indispensable requisite. The next one is data. So data serves as a historical representation of what has happened within your organizations. And for the longest time, we have combined this combination of infrastructure and data for us to be able to do historical analytics in order for us to be able to describe what has happened within our enterprises. Now, the quintessence of machine learning lies in the third element, which is the algorithms. Algorithms are mathematical equations or mathematical formulas that have this incredible capacity when you apply them onto your data, because suddenly it can highlight certain patterns that you couldn't see before. So it is these algorithms that allows you to then extract fresh signals that you couldn't get before. So algorithm is really the facilitator that allows you to progress your data maturity journey from the realm of historical analytics to move to predictive analytics or prescriptive analytics. So those are the ingredients. So what is the recipe for success? So I'm going to take you on this journey where we're going to take a chronological view to see how the data management landscape has evolved in the last few decades. So prior to the year 2000s, the data management landscape is really dominated by the on-premise paradigm. So for any organization to do meaningful, deep calculations or large data sets, you need access to a large data center. And data center costs can easily run into the millions of dollars, if not tens of millions of dollars. And because of this, a lot of smaller organizations or startups find themselves at a disadvantage when it comes to processing large data or deep computational requirement, which is really the foundation of machine learning and artificial intelligence. But that all changed in around 2006 with the arrival of cloud computing, right? So all of a sudden, everybody have access to infrastructure really easily. Instant availability, unlimited scale, at a reduced cost. And pretty much this means that anybody, any organization, will have access to supercomputing power with probably just a laptop and a credit card. Snowflake founders capitalized on this by building a universal data layer on top of these three clouds, extending to our customers this powerful data platform that they can utilize straight away without them having to understand how to operate the individual services underneath it. And then around the same time, 2010, we start seeing algorithms to be developing really, really quickly. So in 2012, for example, you see scikit-learn really gaining tractions with their algorithms, linear regression or basic decision trees, that people suddenly say, wow, it's giving me signals that I couldn't see before. And then we continue with the progression of XGBoost, and also advancement in algorithms, and also the abundance of hardware let us move on to the realm of deep learning framework, where you can see popularity of TensorFlow or PyTorch, for example. So all of this algorithmic boom is really fueled by a really robust open source community, and they're making these really clever algorithms available to everyone at minimal cost. So this means it's really difficult for an organization to be able to carve out a competitive advantage from these algorithms, because pretty much everyone have access to the same algorithms. And so because of that, both infrastructure and algorithms have ceased to be a distinct source of advantage around which an organization can build their competitive advantage. And so the only remaining ingredients of significance is really data. So when you're building a machine learning or an AI initiative within your organization, you have to make it data-centric, because this is your way of getting ahead of your competitions. So within the realm of Snowflake, we believe that a data platform that can support you to run your machine learning and AI initiatives should have ability to support a wide spectrum of data types, from structured data to semi-structured data to unstructured data. You want to be able to put this in a single platform to avoid having to have fragmented data stack within your organization. In addition to that, when you look to the left-hand side, you want to be able to enable all the personas within your organization to be able to converse in any languages that they want, SQL, Java, Python, and Scala, against the same data. Okay? And we all know that machine learning and artificial intelligence are data hungry, right? So it's impossible for you to build anything meaningful only using the data that you have. So you always have to augment your data with additional data sets from other business lines, or even from third-party data, from your supplier, from your customer, and so on. And then this doesn't mean that you want to copy everything over to your account, because that's going to be a nightmare to manage. So you want a platform that can seamlessly foster collaboration across the different parties, without you having to manage data movement. And then the last part is probably the most important in this instance. You want to be able to build a machine learning workflow that goes way beyond just the initial creation of your model. So that is the initial fun. And after that, you need to build the pipelines that feed into your data. So remember, your ML and AI initiatives will only be as good as the data that you feed into that. Okay? And then you need to build a meaningful workflow in order for you to be able to progress your machine learning through development, training, optimization, all the way to production. And last but not least, you want to build meaningful application on top of it so you can truly reveal the potential of your model to your business users. Okay. And you want to make sure that your platform is secure, because after all, you'll be working with your most valuable commodity, which is data. So touching on Snowflake capability, before we go into that, I really want to show common challenges that a lot of organizations face. So you might be able to this might resonate with a lot of you here today. So for many years, organizations have truly worked really hard to break down data silos, to improve data quality, to build a single source of truth. You build data governance, you comply with regulatory compliance, and you start expanding on your data science and machine learning capabilities. However, at some point, your data science community start wanting more. They need ML-optimized compute. They need access to some framework that your data platform can't support. So this difficulty compels them to then break away from your data platform, creating new data copies, duplicate data copies, and run them elsewhere. So this is a valid reason, and we see this in many of our engagement with our customers. So you can see that the issue lies in the red box there. So this means that not only you'll be having to manage multiple data copies, you also then have the headache of making sure that you have the right copies of the data. You need to build pipelines to feed into these external sources. And if you're creating external data sets, you want to bring that back to your main platform. And then, so you might also be forced to cobble together ways to secure this data, which is making your data architecture really, really complex. So in Snowflake, our investment is geared toward solving this problem for you. Won't it be good if we can run the majority of your data science and ML activities within the same platform without you having to move data out and creating data copies? So in order for us to provide this for you, we are dividing our work into three main foundation pillars. The first one is storage. And yes, we do support the variety of an extensive spectrum of data types, from structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data. We allow you to manage that yourself, or you can let us manage that for you. But I want to draw your attention to Iceberg. So Iceberg is an open format, highly performant data type that allows you to do large volume analytics. Okay? A lot of our customers, a lot of you maybe are already using Iceberg within your data lake. With this initiative, we are allowing you to immediately run Snowflake on top of this data without you having to make copies of that data into Snowflake proprietary data format. And this is huge, because when we talk about AI and ML data, we're talking about a lot of data. And not having to build pipelines to load that data into Snowflake, being able to run it directly on what you already have, is actually a big advantage for a lot of organizations. In addition to that, this being an open format means you can orchestrate other tools that can also converse with Iceberg really easily. The next one is about compute. So our computational pillar is geared towards allowing a lot of personas within the organizations to be able to work with the same data using SQL, using Python, using Java, using Scala, and so on. Okay. And we're also recognizing the widespread popularity of Python, and we continue to add packages that we will support natively from inside Snowflake. However, regardless, the advancement of AI, LLM, generative AI is really fast, right? So there will always be a temptation within your machine learning community, within your organization, to tap out to some state-of-the-art services elsewhere. And again, this will create the same problem where you ended up creating new data silos elsewhere to support their need. And we recognize that we will always have to deal with this, and therefore we are introducing Snowpark Container Services. With Snowpark Container Services, you can bring all of this state-of-the-art ML compute or any frameworks or libraries inside of Snowflake within a container, which means you do not have to make any duplicate copies of the data, and you can run all of these initiatives within the security confines of your Snowflake account. And last but not least is the development part. We want to give the machine learning practitioners the same kind of resilience that has been enjoyed by the DevOps counterparts. And so we are adding supports for Git. We're allowing you to have better integration with your CI/CD pipeline. We're also adding capability in the form of module registry. So you can register your machine learning model into this registry, attach metadata to it, and this will then allow you to manage the entire life cycle of your model. So from the picture that we saw before, we want to move to this future where you can you will be able to run the majority of your data science, machine learning, and AI use cases inside your Snowflake security confines. And so you might agree with me, I hope, that this is a lot simpler than what we saw before. And with this, you can also, in terms of governance, you can rely on familiar concepts, right, like role-based access control. So whatever new capability we're adding onto the platform, you will be able to manage permission to your AI applications, to the right data, using standard role-based access control. OK, now let's pivot and start talking about LLMs and generative AI. So what risks or opportunities it gives? And obviously, for the longest time, we have to communicate with the computer in a really prescriptive way. You have to know how to code. And because of that, potentially, the majority of our colleagues are excluded from this conversation. And so being able to suddenly converse with the computer with a natural language is actually is a really exciting development, right? Not only for people who are already well-versed with computers, you know you can do things much quicker with the help of large language models. But also, you will be able to bring more diverse personalities into the process of you building ML and AI solutions. And this is a long time coming, and this is absolutely necessary. And I would say it's a really exciting development. And obviously, all this optimism will have to be balanced out by caution about the various risks that's related to LLM and generative AI rapid development. So one of them is you need to make sure that you understand that when you're conversing with an LLM outside of your data platform, potentially you might be revealing insights into your organizations that you might not want to give away. Yeah? And then if you're building your own LLM or AI, the chance of you getting wrong results is pretty high, at least at the beginning. And so you want to avoid data hallucinations, and therefore you want to always put a human supervisor in the loop to make sure that you continue to train your model to continue to be better and better, but also to encourage transparency and accountability, especially when you're dealing with applications that might have impact on people's lives. For example, mortgage approval. So what Snowflake wants to do is to help you safely develop your LLM and Gen AI capability against your sensitive data in the most secure way possible. So if I show you the current state of LLMs, there are really two ways of you to be able to do this at the moment. So you can go to a platform like Hugging Face and then get one of these open source LLM models, and you can bring that onto your own account, and then you can manage your own infrastructure, and then this way you can be you feel more secure that you're not sending any of your sensitive data out of your security perimeter. However, you'll be limited with the open source models that are available on these platforms. And if you want access to the more state-of-the-art commercial LLM models, the vendors normally do not want to put their intellectual property on this open source platform. And therefore, you have to subscribe, and you have to send your data using some kind of API or web services. So that means the trade-off here is that you might send prompts that will reveal some of the secrets from your organizations that otherwise you would not have shared. So in Snowflake, we want to solve these trade-offs for you by allowing you to work against your single source of truth, no matter whether it's your most sensitive data or your less sensitive data. You can build any kind of LLM models against that data. So you can run the open source LLMs that we saw before, or using Snowpark Container Services, you can bring the partner LLMs into that, or you can use LLM services that we will build as our own application for you. And on top of that, you will be able to build easy, user-friendly application to reveal the true potential of your LLM models. And looking ahead, so there's a question, will there be a single LLM to rule the world? And we think not. And the reason for this is because the LLM models that you might have access to at the moment and admire greatly, they're really trained on publicly available data. And they're very broad, very horizontal. And because of that, the pertinence, the importance of the results coming out of it might not be as important for your business, right? And then, so this means this creates tons of new opportunities for vendors or for organizations to build their own LLM models that's more specific to your domain or to your industry. So they'll be much narrower, but much deeper, and much more useful for your use. And because of that, there will be it will be a lot less cheaper for you to run. And then because of that, we expect that there will be a diverse ecosystem of vendors and organizations building LLM and generative AI capabilities. And at Snowflake, we want to be the incubator that enables you to achieve that in the most secure way, in the most cost-effective way. And then there'll be questions about, so what happens with the traditional data science, machine learning use cases? Will they become obsolete? And the answer is no, it's unlikely going to be so, because if you have a purpose-built model that's doing its job, it will continue to be useful for you. But I think if you are developing an application, there is a new trend that people will want to, as a new benchmark, which is the way to naturally converse with your application. So the learning curve to people will not have the patience, the same patience to learn how to use an application. They will expect naturally that they can ask the questions in a natural way. And I think that will be the future. So therefore, data scientists, machine learning practitioners, and standard other type of developers will need to learn how to build prompt engineering into their application, how to build completion calls, and how to deal with context injection. And so I just want to close with one thing. As you are rushing to join the AI and the ML revolution, please do not compromise on your data governance principles that you have worked towards for years. You need to choose a platform that allows you to hold on to those principles, as well as allow you to expand in a safe way to perform your AI and machine learning endeavors. So with that, I thank you, and thank you so much for your attention, and have a fantastic 2 days.